Trade Anderson for the 13th overall pick. It's like that. What's that famous story about that guy who like starts out with a paperclip and ends up trading it up for a house? Do some shit like that, Connie. Get on it, man.
Everybody wants to be blown away. So the Anderson thing has been heating up. Like you said, Friedman's been covering. It was number one on his 32 thoughts, wasn't it? I don't remember last time we were number one thought.
We're an afterthought.
We're always just like 33.
Oh yeah,
like
the Flames exist.
33C. Oh, this is the third one. Okay, we forgot to
33C subsection I. The Flames are still around, I guess.
So, but one thing, I don't know if it was Friedman or somebody else, but they were saying that there's lots of interest. There's lots of interest, and it was one other NHL exec saying that someone will pull the trigger on Anderson, and the Flames should be going to get a pretty decent return.
It's not surprising. Like, I think you forget
he's a baller.
Yeah,
and like you've been peddling, like if him slotted correctly on a contender, I would love to see Anderson on a contending team.
Yeah,
he should go to the Canes or some shit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams who would slide him in and be like their defense would improve immensely. Like you look at Dallas, I think Dallas for sure. I think Tampa Bay. I even think a team like Florida, if they're not going to re-sign Ekblad, like imagine if the Flames are dangling retention too. They have one retention slot. They're still got the Markstrom slot. They got one more. Like you could have Rasmus Andersson on your team for like $2 million. So the fact he's so affordable, the fact he is a really good player, he's a right-hand shot. Like I think there will be a lot more demand than people think. That like maybe the fan base thinks. Like I think teams are lining up, probably get in a hurry to line up for this guy and his services.
Could you fluke out and get an elite up and coming center that's not proven yet?
That'd be pretty
tough. Would you take a swing that way?
I think I think maybe the main priority, and I know it's kind of tough. Dude. I wish they had done this at the deadline, to be perfectly honest, because that's when teams aren't valuing draft picks as much. I feel like,
Sure.
So you can get people, they're throwing first round picks out.
Well, and they don't know where they're going to finish, right?
Exactly.
Like
so now, and it's like, yeah, well, I don't really want to give up my pick because it's like right now and I have it. Now it's
maybe we're going to win the cup, but we're picking 23rd. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's tougher currency. So I don't know if they're trading Anderson. I would prefer them to try and use it, like I said, to move up in the draft or maybe even get another first round pick. Like, let's say there's a player you really want and Columbus is at 14 and you're at 18 and you can move up with a Rasmus Anderson trade. That's something I think that would be the Flames should be interested in. But I guess maybe the flip side of that is I think the focus should be on acquiring as much as you can in this draft because that's what we need. That should be the priority. But I mean, does that exclude you from dealing with teams who maybe don't have capital in this year's draft who really want to pony up for this guy? Because I think the salary is a major selling feature. Like I said, if you could retain, like if you want to go to Dallas and say, hey, because Dallas's defense fucking sucks. Anderson would be a beautiful fit in Dallas, I think. If you say, hey, like 50% retained, like less than $3 million, you can have Rasmus Anderson, top 3D on your team right now. Like you'd have to be all over that if you were Dallas. Problem being, they don't have a pick in the first round. So you can't really, you're not going to be getting that. So
top prospect, who you got at center?
Yeah. If you are trading with in mind picks in this year's draft, you probably are limiting yourself a little bit.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Every nail-biting overtime winner is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION to get in on the game. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
So I know Rob had an article today at Flames Nation, 5 teams that might trade for Rasmus Anderson. His 5 teams were Tampa, which I really like that idea. Because Tampa is one of these teams that really knows when and how to go after players who are being underpaid relative to their value, which Anderson still is at 4.5 or whatever he's making. I don't think they have many right shot D. He would fit in beautifully there. They're tough up against the cap. I think that would be a great trading partner, but they don't have any picks. They do have the kid who won the reigning Hobie Baker winner, Isaac Howard. So maybe that's a starting point. This is the one that does interest me from a draft perspective right now, though, is Nashville. We talked about them briefly earlier. They do have 5 overall, but they also have 26th overall and 23rd overall.
Well, they just traded for somebody, right?
Nashville?
Yeah.
Who did they trade for?
I feel like I just saw this. They traded and everybody's like, oh shit, they're not rebuilding. They're trying to come make a rebound here.
Well, they tried to do that last year, I guess. They signed all those guys. What's his name? Marchessault and Stamkos and all that shit. But yeah, they don't seem committed to like fully rebuilding. They got all these old guys. So could you grab both of those picks? Could you grab one of those picks? Would any of those picks be up for grab? I think Nashville's a good trading partner. Columbus, like I said, I think Columbus, right? I think if Columbus being in that range of like realistically you could move up, and there might be a guy who maybe tumbled down out of the top 10 just a little bit, or out of the top 12, hit him up. Rasmus he'd probably like to go there, play with Monty.
It was Holla.
Eric Holla?
Yep. Holla traded to Predators.
I thought you were just saying that. I thought you were like being like Holla.
For Hansel 4th round pick in 2025 draft 6 days ago. What
the fuck are they doing?
Well, that's what people are saying. They're like, oh fuck, they're like not going the rebuild way. So maybe they would fucking want Anderson. Maybe Barry Trotz is like Darryl Sutter. Fantastic coach.
Not really bad GM. Seems that way so far, eh? The other team would be Detroit. Detroit fans have had about enough of Steve Y's shenanigans here.
Anderson in a Detroit jersey would be fucking lit.
Yeah.
With Swedish flowing hair. Yeah. Swedish. Make it happen. I could see that happening for sure.
And that's another team, right? That's right in that range. They have the 13th overall pick this year. I think
that makes sense. 13
intrigues me.
Then you could repackage 13 and move up to 7.
Yeah. See if you could do that, right? Like that would be, those are the kind of move. We got to get creative here. Like I said, if you have to you want to make like a Brian Burke.
You want to get nuts?
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. That's what needs to happen to get these center icemen that I keep saying. Like you distill all the shit down is the Flames need to get elite center icemen. How do you get them pick high in the draft? We're not picking
you go Galaxy Brain actually for once. Yeah. Instead of us being, oh, you Galaxy Brain that into fucking nothing.
Pull a Brian Burke where it's like
blow us away.
Yeah, blow us away. Blow my mind. Be like, holy shit, I've never seen a team do that before. Brian Burke getting the Sedin twins, being like, one team nobody was getting both of them except me, and he went balls to the wall. And he just went out and did it. Like, do that. Trade Anderson for the 13th overall pick. It's like that, what's that famous story about that guy who like starts out with a paperclip and ends up trading it up for a house? Do some shit like that, Connie. Get on it, man.
Everybody wants to be blown away.
Yeah, well, see, that's another funny thing you hear about the draft, right? It's like, oh, we pick 18th, we got this really good player, and everyone's like, yeah, he doesn't really blow me away with his skill. It doesn't blow me away. And then obviously the last team that Robert mentions that we already talked about was Dallas, because they're in some cap trouble. Their defense sucks. We watched the Oilers demolish Cody Ceci and the like. They did just sign Maverick Bourque. I don't know if he'd be included in a trade, but I think those are 5 really good fits. And I will throw out Florida, even though they don't have anything probably to offer at all. But how good would Rasmus Andersson look as an Aaron Ekblad replacement if they're not going to sign Aaron Ekblad?
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.